My name is James Reed. I recently retired from parish ministry in Oldham and now I live in St Clement's Parish. I've called this meditation, I'll Be There. We hear the story of Jesus speaking to Mary and John from the cross. He says these words, "Behold your son, behold your mother." We are invited to listen to these words spoken to us. May we, like John and Mary, respond in obedience. May God bless us as we enter into this meditation together. A reading from St. John's Gospel. Meanwhile, standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to his disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour the disciple took her into his own home. Here ends the reading. Imagine Jesus hanging on the cross at the top of a hill. Look carefully at Jesus. Can you see his face? What expression is on his face? Pain, anguish, sorrow, anger, hate, love? Some other expression? Is Jesus making any sound? He might be screaming or crying or silent. And how do you feel as you look and listen to Jesus hanging there from the cross? A crowd has gathered around. Take a look at them as they stand there, or maybe some are sitting. Look at the expressions on their face. Listen to them. What sounds can you hear? You might be able to hear from some weeping, or from some cheering. Maybe some are shouting or laughing. Maybe some are speaking to each other. Listen to the crowd. Imagine yourself as part of the scene. You might like to become one of the characters named in the story. John, Mary, one of the other women mentioned in the story, perhaps one of the other disciples. You might have received healing from Jesus, or been impressed and touched and changed by his teaching. You could be someone who's been annoyed by Jesus, maybe one of the religious leaders. Or you might be comfortable just to be one of the crowd, maybe someone who's just turned up, who just happens to be there. Just imagine yourself there as one of these characters. Close to Jesus stand his mother Mary and his beloved disciple John. You might have chosen to be one of these characters. They're standing together, standing near the cross. Look at them as they stand there. Are either of them looking at Jesus, or at one another, or around them? Jesus looks down at his mother. How does he look as he looks upon her? How does Mary feel as Jesus looks at her? Listen to Jesus as he speaks to Mary. Listen to the tone of his voice. Behold your son. How does Mary feel when she hears these words spoken to her? Does her expression on her face change? How does she feel as she contemplates John being her son? Is John someone she'd like to have as her own son, her own flesh and blood? Is he someone that she could care for as her own son? Is he someone she could trust? Trust to care for her as a son? Is he someone she'd like to share a home with, living there together, mother and son? Look at Jesus. Now he looks down at his beloved disciple John. How does John feel as Jesus looks at him? Does he look back at Jesus or look away? Listen to Jesus as he speaks to John. Listen to the tone of his voice. Behold your mother. How does John feel when he hears these words spoken to him? Does his face change? How? Where does he look? These words spoken by Jesus to John reinforce what he's just heard Jesus say to Mary. How does he feel about Mary? Is she someone he is attracted to? Someone whom he'd like to have as his mother? Someone whom he could love as his mother? Is she someone whom he could welcome into his home as his mother? Make space for her, be cared for her as a mother cares for a son, and he care for her with the love of a son. John, we're told, takes Mary into his own home. For both of them, life is never going to be the same again. Not only will they have lost Jesus and the central part he'd been in their lives, be full of sorrow and grief, but now they would be entering into this new kind of relationship, a different kind of family, joined by Jesus' love. What do Mary and John do now? Just imagine, having heard that they are to be mother and son, how do they react? Do they speak to each other? What do they say? Listen to them. Perhaps you've become one of them in your imagination as this meditation has gone on. Listen to them speaking together. What if you were Mary? What would you say to John? What if you were John? What would you say to Mary? Perhaps they give each other a hug, look at each other in the eye, watch them and listen to them. How do you feel about this new kind of family that Jesus is instituting? A family joined together by his love and by his commission. We can think of this story as being the foundation of the church, a community bound together in love, responsible for each other, as in the very best of families. Bound together in mothering love. Listen to Jesus as he speaks to you by name. Behold your mother. Behold your son. Think of your church, the people Jesus is inviting you to love as a mother or father would love their child, a daughter or son, as they would love a mother or a father. Is this the kind of relationship you have in church with those, your brothers and sisters of your church? How do you feel about this kind of family, this kind of your church as a family? loving each other as parents and children, like Mary and John were commissioned. Now Jesus asks you to look out into the world, particularly to those people in need, the sick, asylum seekers and refugees, the homeless, prisoners, the unloved. And as you look out at these people on the margins of society, listen to Jesus as he says to you, "Behold your mother. Behold your son." How does it feel as you hear these words spoken from the cross by Jesus? And as you look out at the poor and marginalized, how does it feel to be told, "Behold your mother, behold your son"? These people as a kind of family. Are these people you could think of in that way? And if so, what changes do you need to make in your attitudes and in your behaviors? Now Jesus asks you to look out at the whole universe, the whole of creation, all that's been made through him and for him. Particularly he asks you to look at our Mother Earth. And as you look, listen to him call you by name as he says to you, as you look out on Mother Earth, "Behold your mother. Behold your son." Receive Jesus' words as he calls this earth your mother, your son, that he's asking you to enter into a close relationship with the earth, with our Mother Earth, that sustains us, that we depend on, that humanity is destroying. As you look out and think about our planet and all that there is, as your mother and as your son, are there changes you need to make in your attitudes and in your behaviors? Or maybe attitudes and behaviors you need to reinforce and develop. As you look out, listen again to Jesus say, "Behold your mother. Behold your son." Is creation, all the plants and animals, the rocks and soil, and rivers and lakes, is all this something you can think of as a mother, as caring for you, as a mother cares for you, her child? You dependent upon it, as a child is dependent on its mother? And can you think of Mother Earth as something that you must care for. As a child, a son or a daughter, care for their mother or their father. How does that feel? And as you think about our planet in this way, are there changes you need to make in your attitudes, in your behaviours towards our Mother Earth, towards the earth as your son, as your child? Listen to Jesus as he hangs there on the cross, dying for all people, for all time, in all situations, dying for all creation. Listen to him as he says these very important words. Behold your son. Behold your mother. Thank you for joining me in this meditation. Thank you to Jeff, who's given so much technical help. Thank you to Karen for the invitation to play my part in this way. Jesus' arms are open wide, binding us all, the whole of creation, in his love. He asks us to keep looking, to keep listening to him, to play our part in his world. May our meditation continue, lived out in the whole of our lives. To hear those words spoken to us, behold your son. Behold your mother. Amen.